Hi everyone. I thought I'd recap my weekend at Swiss Yarn Festival here with you guys. Filming vlogs is sometimes crazy. You feel like you have been filming quite a bit over 3 days and then there's only about 13 minutes of footage, and then you still have to cut quite a bit, a few of the ones where you had just put your camera and filmed your knitting. So it's quite a technical thing, but I want to focus also on the aesthetics and the what I am showing you guys. So I thought sitting down, recapping a bit of what happened, who was there, who I met, how I got there, and what I took home with me. I thought that would be a really nice thing. If you're ever going to Swiss Yarn Festival in the future, these might be things that interest you. And yeah, just in general, I want to talk more about it. First of all, I was invited by an Instagram friend. I feel like it's really fun and exciting and sometimes a bit scary how you can connect with people that you've never met. I am a firm believer of using the internet for its pros and not as much for its cons. So connecting with people who aren't physically close to you, I think, is one of the more positive things about the internet. And so, especially in this community and being someone who's doing YouTube and who's showing off their making on here and trying to connect with people who are also makers and mostly or especially knitters and people in this community, I feel like meeting in person is a really big deal, and it's a really nice thing to add to the connections we're building here and on other apps, and just mostly through text and pictures. Excuse me. And so I'm just I was really thankful when Rebecca reached out to me. Her name or her username is Rebecca Knits _ on Instagram. So I was talking about going to a couple of European festivals, especially because it won't be possible for me, probably, if there's not a miracle happening financially this year. It won't be possible for me to go to Flock. Unfortunately, I'm really sad about it, and I'll probably be spending my days that weekend just trying to distract myself from just the feeling of not being included in something that is going to be, I'm sure, fantastic again, like last year. But because of that, I thought, okay, so there's loads of beautiful festivals around you. Just try and get to not as many as I can, but a couple of them, and just enjoy the time there and with European makers too. And so she offered to host me. Rebecca kindly did, and I accepted the invitation. I booked some tickets to go there by train, which wasn't all too difficult. Here from Marburg, it took me about 6 hours each direction, which is totally fine. It's just a bit longer than going to Berlin from where I'm living. And so I drove there Friday. Rebecca picked me up from the train station. It was really nice meeting her in person for the first time. I know some people might think that is crazy to connect with people and then actually visit them, but I just feel like sometimes you have a good feeling about people. And so we went from the train station, we went directly to Gladfelden. Rebecca had booked us an Uber. Fortunately, she doesn't have a car since she's living in the city, and it's not required for her to get to her work. So Uber was a great option for us. And we went there. We arrived late afternoon, and we had a mooch around, and we met quite a bit of people. It was really nice. I met some of you guys, some lovely viewers came up and said hi, which I'm always so happy about meeting you, because for me, obviously, it's like I'm seeing kind of like usernames that aren't always the same as on Instagram. So if I've talked to you on Instagram before, I don't always connect it to the person here on in the YouTube comment section, and just seeing faces and seeing that there is such a like wide variety of people watching. Doesn't really matter the age or their kind of which knitting styles and knitting bubble they're in. It's a diverse group of people, and I'm always really happy to see that. The actual humans behind people watching. I really love that. And so we went to a couple of the booths. I didn't do a lot of shopping the first day. I picked up a couple of mini skeins and actually a sample card from one of the booths. I had talked to my boss at Strickverliebt prior to the festival. She wasn't able to go, but we had talked about some of the brands that would be interesting for us as a shop to possibly take on in the future. And so I had them kind of saved to kind of, I had it in my head to get to these booths and maybe see, touch the yarns a bit more, maybe ask for a sample card. Yeah, just talk to them. And I did, and there were really quite a bit of, there were so many positive interactions, I feel like, so that was really nice. After being there the first day, we went back home to Rebecca's place, the three of us. Emily was the third kind of person in our group, which was really lovely. I just met her that weekend, but it was kind of like we instantly knew each other. I think maybe yarny festivals can do that to a person, that you kind of feel really connected, but she's just lovely, so maybe that was also part of liking her instantly. And then Rebecca cooked for us, which was so lovely. We put all of our yarn on the table, as you could see in the vlog, and then talked about what we're planning on doing with it. And Rebecca actually had some yarn that she wasn't planning on using anymore, so she gave it to me, and we're planning, if she's ever coming to Germany for another festival here, that she can look through my stash or things that I'm planning on destashing, and so she can take something. I think it was really lovely night. We were all quite tired, so we didn't stay up too late because we wanted to get there early in the morning on Saturday, and so we did. We drove up there again with Uber. On the way back, Emily took us with her car since she has a car, so that was really nice. We could kind of split all this up, and it was just really lovely for me to, as a person who's always trying to be really organized and also organize stuff for other people. If I'm traveling, I always feel like I am the person to pretty much be responsible for most of the things happening, or especially if I'm traveling on my own. Obviously, I'm responsible for everything that's happening, and with them, I just really felt very safe in all the plans, and I didn't really have to think about anything too much. So that was really, really lovely. The two of them had made such sweet plans for our weekend, so I really appreciated that. Rebecca made some energy balls, like some bliss balls for us to take, and she made tea and took some fruit and some smoothies. So it was really lovely being taken care like that the whole weekend. I really appreciate that. And so we went back the second day, and we had scouted the booths on that first day. We had tried to go to most of the booths, and then we thought about which one do we want to get back to, which I think is always a great option. There weren't any things like at Flock where there's Explore Knits and Fibers, which, if you've been to any of their events, I know people are, maybe they're scared for the things that they had in mind to sell out. And in my opinion, or in my experience, it can tend to be maybe even a bit of an anxious experience if you're very, very anxious to get something. It wasn't like that at all. I wasn't thinking about, if I'm not going back right now, it won't be there anymore, which I really liked. Not saying that it's not completely valid to really want a colorway by your favorite hand dyer and being really yeah, anxiously awaiting that, or running to the booth. Like, I'm not judging that at all, but yeah, I like that there wasn't any of that for me this weekend because yeah, I just didn't feel the kind of scarcity mentality around any of the shopping. I didn't even have a lot of things in mind, or I didn't have anything in mind. And then I was sitting on a train going there, and I was like thinking about what I could get, and something that I had thought about before came up again in my mind, and I thought, okay, if I'm finding any paper yarn, I had this Florence bag by Petite Knit in mind a couple of months ago, and then I was like, I'm not sure if I want to make my own bag. I'm using my Uniqlo like crossover bags most of the time if I need something small, and I have 3 of them. For any outfit, that's enough. But then I thought having like a really cute summery bag, I'm thinking about maybe shortening the like leather strap of that. That would be really nice. Having it a bit shorter than what Petite Knit does, and I could just cut that and then press some new holes in it with like a belt hole puncher. I'm not sure if that's the correct term, but yeah, that was the only concrete plan that I had. And if I thought if I find something that matches that, I'm gonna get that. And then otherwise I was mostly just looking out for mini skeins for my sweet shop blanket. And so we're looking around, going to some of the booths again. I went back to Bichet Buche, which I had been to the day before. I'd been talking to Caroline quite a bit. She's the daughter of Astrid, who's the owner of Bichet Buche. And she recognized me from Barcelona Knits, where I came to their booth as well and shopped for some mohair. I have since destashed that mohair, and I was so sad about it, but it was just a blue that I bought it to go with another sweater quantity that I have destashed as well since then. It was just a purpley blue color that, yeah, I wasn't seeing myself using with all the other things that I'm loving. It just wasn't in my preferred color palette. So I was talking to her quite a bit, and she was wearing a stunning colorwork sweater. Very simple, very Scandi, very toned back, but she was wearing that. And I asked her about the design, and she said her mom had designed it. Bichet Buche has their own designs. Astrid, the mother, is designing them, and it had been featured in a Line magazine, issue 6. It's called The After Party, or just After Party, and I really loved that. And I had a look at the colors. They used, I think, the cashmere and lamb's wool, but I just looked at the lamb's wool at that point. And so then after doing some shopping in the marketplace, I had a workshop booked in. I had booked the Natasha Hornby Photographing Your Knits workshop. Actually, my boss paid for me to do this workshop. The weekend, so the transfer and everything I paid for myself. This was, for the most part, an event I went to as a private person, or as Marlene Knits in a way, not as a person who works at a yarn shop, although I kind of always have that in mind now that I work there and I'm looking out for stuff. But she suggested me taking the workshop because I told her I was interested in it, since I am doing the marketing at Strick Verliebt and photographing quite a bit of knits and wool and yarn, and yeah, that is my main role. So she suggested me taking that course, and I was very happy to do that. And then yeah, we took the course. Natasha is really, really nice. I have to say that because I've been doing photography as a hobby myself for many years, there were quite a few things I already knew in the course, and on a theoretical basis, and also how to kind of take pictures for Instagram, what apps to use and stuff like that. So at the end of the course, she was really kind. She really flattered me, and she said that I'm way too good for that course already. I hope this doesn't sound braggy at all. It was just really kind of her to say that, because I'm a firm believer that we can still learn. Even if we know a lot about a subject, there is still so much to learn. And I did learn quite a bit still from that course. And we took some really cute pictures. I think they're cute. I took one of Rebecca featuring her red Sophie scarf, which really matched her lipstick and the hearts on her blouse. I'm going to insert that here, which I thought was really elegant and really, I just really liked the picture I took of her. And then she took a picture of me, which I thought really captured who I am. I really like that picture that she took of me. And I really like that you can almost feel the knit in it, like the texture of the knit on my arm. I just really love that. And so that was a really, really good experience. And then we sat in the sun for a bit. We talked to Madeline from the Fruity Knitting podcast. She actually took some footage of us, so we'll have to see if we end up in the new program of Fruity Knitting podcast, which would be really funny. And yeah, we talked to a couple of people. We went back to some booths. We were still looking around, thinking about what we might want to get. We all had some projects in mind. Rebecca even wrote out all her project, which I thought was a really good idea. And then we, again, Emily drove us home. We actually went to her place that time around, and she prepared such a fun barbecue dinner for us. We had a Prosecco, we cheered, like we toasted to the weekend. That was really nice. And then after the dinner, we just knitted a bit on our socks. I think all of us were working on socks that weekend, which is fun. And then just talked for hours. We went to bed way too late, but yeah, it was just what we all needed in that moment, I felt like. And then we all felt a bit hungover the next day. We didn't plan on going back the third day on Sunday. Since I had never been to Zurich, I thought it would be really nice. And that's what Rebecca also suggested, going into the city and looking at a couple of the architectural sites and churches and just walking around Zurich for a moment. We had the most incredible weather the whole weekend. It was really lovely, kind of warm spring weather, which I didn't expect. I mean, I knew packing my stuff like a day before. I was really late with packing. I'm usually never that late. This time around, I knew that was going to be warm, and I even packed my sandals. I'm like, what is this weather? It's lovely. And so on Sunday, I had talked to her about having my hair done. As you know from my previous episode, I had my hair done in like this shaggy, kind of getting back my bangs vision. But after a couple of days, I felt a bit frustrated with feeling like I love my hairdresser here in Marburg. Don't get me wrong. I've been with her for like 8 years now, coming up to 9 years. But she had not put in enough layers. I really wanted a waterfall layer kind of thing. And especially in the back, there weren't enough shorter layers that I had hoped for. And since Rebecca is a hairdresser and has worked as a hairdresser for many, many years, and she's really good, now I know that, she offered to put in more layers for me, and it was just so lovely. I felt so, I had such a bad headache. Apparently it's normal for when the city is getting really warm, and then kind of like the wind and water and pressure around the Alps is like pressing on Zurich in a way. So they told me about it. Apparently it's called the föhn. Didn't know about that before, but I had pretty bad migraine coming up in the morning. I even felt hungover, though I only had 2 glasses of Prosecco the whole night. So yeah, I wasn't feeling great, but then she gave me that new haircut and I felt really good about it and we ran around the city for a bit. We didn't have enough, like a lot of time after that. I had to leave at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon to catch my train home to Marburg. But it was really lovely, just spending a bit of non-festival time with her then. And I feel, again, still very grateful for all the things she did for me this weekend, and the memories we made. And yeah, I am rambling quite a bit, I feel like. And so let me just talk to you all about the yarn that I got, since that seems to be the thing we all want to know about, right? Okay, let's talk about yarny acquisitions, or acquisitions surrounding yarn. First of all, some photo booth pictures at Wolle 7 at the booth. So these are some of the pictures we took. We took 3 picture kind of series, and each of us was able to take one home, and I thought that was really nice. And then actually on the last night when we spent some time at Emily's place, they surprised me with a early birthday present. I was completely not like expecting this. So this is the card they gave me. I was really not expecting this, and I was shocked, and I was so happy, and I was so thankful for them. We had been at a booth where they were offering Minuk project bags. Minuk is actually a label here from Germany, from Hamburg. And I had been in contact with the owner before. She also does pattern designs on Instagram, just like very casual contact. So I knew about her. My friend Nora from Red Riding Hood, she has a bag of hers. And I was looking at that at H&H Cologne and really liking the look of that. And I had not ordered from her before, but I had always, or for some time, been thinking about it. And I hadn't seen her project bags before, and so I was looking at them, and then very like absent-minded was saying like, oh, I should add that to my wish list for my birthday, which is coming up in about a week. And I wasn't being like serious really, and I thought they were obviously completely justified the price, but it was still quite expensive, and I wasn't in a place where I was just getting it for myself. And so we went on our sweet merry way, and I still thought about that kind of like mustard yellow bag that I really liked, but was thinking about other stuff as well. So it just slipped my mind a bit. And then at night, they gave me a bag, was beautifully wrapped. I read the card, and they got me the bag. And I was like in shock. I was like, we don't know each other very long. We had the most lovely weekend. My birthday's in a week, but like they didn't have to do that. They really didn't have to do that, but I appreciated it so much. So I'm really, really thankful again, Emily and Rebecca. I know you guys will probably be watching this recap. And yeah, it's really, really lovely. So that's what the brand is called. And it's in a color Rapsgelb. And yeah, it's just really lovely. I love it. I'm so happy with it. Thank you again, guys. I really didn't expect it. And I also put on this pin that I got from Biche et Bûche. It's a little pine, and I love pines, and I think it just looks really cute on this. I have actually put in another project bag because I had to kind of pack strategically, because I bought just the right amount of stuff to be able to bring it back home. But yeah, I hadn't anticipated bringing home a project bag, and yeah, I got some samples for the shop, so it was quite squished in my luggage actually. So recapping a few of the things that I got. One thing that I got was from just from Rebecca's stash. This is a leftover of some sock yarn that she was working with, and I thought it would go beautifully in one of my scrappy blankets. That's why she gave it to me. And then I think the category which I got most of were minis. I'm going to show you the ones that I got from one brand first and then the others. So I got these from Das Mondschaf, which is also a hand dyer from Germany. Which is funny because they're not even that far from where I'm living, but I have never worked with their yarn before. I just saw a couple of friends work with their yarns before. So this one is called I Want to Believe. I hope you can see. Then this one is Die Hard. And then this one is Fire and Blood. And finally, this one is called ATREJU. Not sure what that is, but I feel like they all had kind of like a pop cultural reference. And so this is what they look like. So these were from that booth, and obviously they're all primarily for my sweet shell blanket, but then also they can go into my other scrappy blanket or scrappy blankets if I cast on the northeasterly blanket soon. And then I got burnt spice and double fudge from this booth called Giggling Gecko Yarns. So burnt spice and brown double fudge. And so I really like the look of this palette. And then I went to the booth of Trellis. She is a dyer. It's really crinkly. She's a dyer from Greece, actually. I don't think I've ever worked with yarn from a dyer that is from Greece. But Trellis, she was really, really lovely. I had a look at it the first day, and then I came back to buy it the second day. I wasn't sure about the colors matching what I already have exactly, but then I thought it would be nice to add a few different directions. And this one, this set was called Alohomora, and it's obviously Harry Potter themed, which, I mean, in my generation, we are kind of all Harry Potter fans before the author went off the rails and into a very wrong direction, in my opinion. Still, the books and films mean a lot to a lot of people, and they do for me. And so I got this. I'm not sure, I hope you can see all of them. But yeah, these were all of the minis that I got, and I think they will really look lovely in my blanket. And then the next thing that I got from a booth, that was a shop in Switzerland. I'm gonna put more information than I can probably speak into the description box down below, so linking the shops that I got stuff from. I got something from the Fiber Company. It was actually something that I had looked at when I was in Washington, and I had fallen in love with there, but it was just out of my budget at that moment because I was trying to not spend all of my money before Flock Fiber Festival already. And it's the Ambo Wandering Souls. It's a washable merino wool, alpaca and recycled nylon blend. And it's in this beautiful color called Cat Bells. And yeah, this time around I got it. She had loads of really nice brands at her booth. She had Rosa Pomar, she had Noro, and a couple more brands that I like to look at. She had some Dram Natura, and then she had some Fiber Co. And first of all, I thought, okay, these would make the most lovely socks. Since there's recycled nylon in this, I would use them as sock yarn. It's a fingering weight, so I got, it has 325 meters. So it's, yeah, it's a thicker fingering to light sport weight, these three. And I don't have a specific project in mind. I was thinking about doing the cognac sweater with this. Then I was thinking of doing like a light sports, heavy fingering, maybe cardigan with it, which would be nice as like a thinner layer. And then I just thought I'll come up with something if I have this sweater quantity in my stash, which, yeah, that should be enough to make something beautiful with around, yeah, it's around 1,000 meters, which should work. I had the cognac sweater in mind when I was buying it. I always like to have a project in mind. If I don't have a project in mind, I don't feel good to buy it. I was looking at the apple door from John Arbin as well on another booth, and I didn't get it because I didn't have a project in mind, even though it was 20% off. But yeah, with this, I thought there would be a project in my future. Also, I could use the leftover, putting into one of my blankets, or do some socks with it, depending on how much yarn I have left over. But yeah, this is one of the sweater quantities that I got, and I'm really happy with it. Next up, I got this leather strap for my Florence bag that I was telling you about. And then, like I said, my friend gave me this paper yarn. It's from Wool and the Gang, and it's called Raffia, yeah. And it's in Desert Palm, and I thought it would go really nicely with this. So yeah, this is a Florence bag in my future. Thanks again, Rebecca, for de-stashing this into my stash. And yeah, looking forward to that make. Now, talking about Bichet Buche, I had talked to them a bit at Barcelona Knits already, and to Caroline or Caroline as well at the booth at the festival, and they kindly agreed to sponsor this make for me, the after party pullover or sweater that I'm going to make. And we decided on the colors red, brown and beige. So the red brown is going to be the main color, and then the beige is going to be the accent color, and this is the color palette that we decided on. So this is going to be a beautiful fingering weight, woolen spun colorwork sweater in my future. I'm really excited, and I'm so thankful to Bichet Buche for gifting me this beautiful yarn sweater quantity for that make. I also love their bags. And like I said, the pins are also so beautiful. I had a pin in my bag that they gave me, and then I bought one for Rebecca so we could have matching. Yeah, next up I got some samples for the shop, which I'm not going to talk about since I don't want to reveal any secrets before they're being kind of brought into reality. But oops, sneak peek. Some beautiful colors and some beautiful summer yarns. At one booth, they were actually giving out these mini labels, and we all got a couple, which I think was so nice. And then at Raw Work, I also talked to Christine and Christina, who own the Raw Work brand. And I had bought some of their yarn previously on their website, and I have it in stash to work with, and they really kindly gave me this bag. Because I wasn't planning on spending any more money at that point, so it was really lovely of them to give me that bag. And we all, Rebecca and Emily, both got a sweater quantity at the booth, and so we all went around with our Raw Work bag throughout the weekends. And so my last quantity for a t-shirt actually was from Nati Sea. It is a French company, and it's the owner is called Mathilde, I think it's how you pronounce her name, and she was really, really lovely. This was also one of the booths I had talked about with my boss previously to maybe look into if we could get them to the shop. So I decided on this pernel, which is 100% fibers from long hemp. So I think technically it would be called flax, but I'm not sure about that. I'm gonna Google that and see if I'm right. And it's in this beautiful caramel color. So let me show you what that looks like. When I went to pay for these yarns, Mathilde really kindly told me that I didn't have to pay for it. She was so lovely. The yarn was lovely. The qualities they had with them were really lovely, all sustainable, and I really like that. And I'm planning on making the peacock tee with it. So yeah, that's everything that I got at Swiss Yarn Festival. If you have any more questions about the festival, about anything that I've spoken about, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed this vlog and then a recap kind of. I hope I didn't forget anything. I am so chuffed and energized and happy after this weekend, after getting over my migraine and coming back home. I'm now looking forward to enjoy this free Monday that I'm having, possibly edit this episode to get it out to you really quickly and work a bit in the garden and sit on the terrace and do the food shop and clean the bathroom. So that's my Monday plan. Possibly do a bit of knitting as well, which is always nice. And yeah, I hope this wasn't too rambly in the end. I know I tend to get quite rambly, but I hope you enjoyed with your current project that you're working on. Yeah, if you have any more questions, feel free to leave them under the video and I'll get to them. And I'm looking forward to see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves and those around you, and I hope you get lots of quality knitting time. Bye.